We are recording this a second time because we went over. But whatever, we're just gonna... Nicotine. And we have a song stuck in our head, so yeah. That's where we are. All right, hello.
Hi, and welcome to
The Kiss Off, which, oh god.
Hopefully that's not too loud and peaking.
Yeah, so my name is Arbela.
Hi, my name is Nyolia. It's Nicole.
So we are best friends, BFFs, BFFRs. I don't know what the R is. But the point is, Nicole and I have been friends since we were, seven butt buddies? We used to just bonk our butts together. Yeah. So anyway,
we played with Skip-Its. Do you guys remember fucking Skip-Its?
Skip-Its. Where you put the
thing on your ankle.
Oh, I remember that.
That was a death trap.
I lived in fucking Europe for like 7 years of my childhood, and I missed so many weird ass toys that the 90s and 2000s brought. That it was absurd. Like, I came back and I was like, what the fuck?
But this thing was like plastic, and like now they make them a bit safer with like string. I don't know if that's safer, but like, and that thing used to light up. Let's see. Oh my god, they're still selling. I think they're selling it on Amazon. Maybe, yeah.
Wow, we should get it.
Sell it today.
We also used to fuck with Heelys.
Oh my gosh, those were death traps.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
I know, but I mean, if you know how to use them, I feel like they're good for adults. Honestly, get around. It's kind of like.
But like, if you're like in a area with like gravel and like rocks, even the tiniest rock, you will fall off.
That's so true.
50 feet in the air and kill yourself.
Just a little bit of, I guess, background of what we do in IRL, in the real world.
What did we do?
So I just graduated college. I don't know if I said that so. College, if you've heard of it. And I studied journalism. I'm now doing freelance stuff here and there. And I want to, be a journalist. I want to, write more. I want to eventually be an editor. So that, and right now even I'm pretty busy with like balancing a lot of stuff, and I have a blog as well, which I will link. And Nicole, what are you doing in IRL?
In IRL, I have a gold medal in stuffing marshmallows up my butt. No, not my butt. I was going to say belly button.
You're like Michael Scott. Like, sometimes I just say things and then I just let it happen. Like, whatever that fucking quote is.
Belly button, but my mind went to
Nicole, what do you do?
I collect ants.
Nicole!
All right, I really enjoy like writing films, like short films at the moment. Well, I like writing stories, and then like I like making films. It's like my thing. I like doing it.
Yeah. And you just made one.
Yeah, I just made a film. It's called Lola. We're in post-production right now, but probably in later podcasts we'll like plug it in, and let you know when we release it.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, when we release it.
We're gonna start by kind of talking about a movie. We might change that eventually if we feel like it, but right now I feel like we want to start with something a little more lighthearted. So talking about mainly old movies we like. We're now kind of really into chick flicks, and talking about kind of like different chick flicks, quote unquote chick flicks, because they're very interesting, honestly, because I don't know, because they're movies made for women, but then they're kind of stigmatized and I don't know, misrepresented.
It's definitely like romanticized, but like what we were saying is like a lot of the well-known chick flicks were like made in the early 2000s, and a lot of them were written or directed by men. So it's kind of like
it's
the
very
male
interesting.
Gaze, and like women are like viewing that and stuff. But there are some like really good quote unquote chick flicks, or like romantic comedies. I think we should just call them that.
Yeah, romantic comedies.
That's what they are.
Yeah, and like,
or even a Lifetime movie. Like some of them are are just fun.
I know they're fun to watch.
They might not be like thematically
Oscar worthy or anything.
Yeah, but they're fun.
We'll then lead into other things, basically something about culture or social issues. And then we'll plug in like maybe some news stories we've been reading or some things we've been seeing on social media and usually it'll kind of tie into a certain theme. It'll be a lot of feminism, a little bit of politics, a little
intersectional feminism.
Yeah, and a lot of pop culture stuff and a lot of just cool analysis as well as our personal experiences, which I think is very powerful. Like storytelling is very important, showing different perspectives and all that. And eventually we would like to bring on other people as interviews to show different perspectives, ask their opinion, because sometimes there's just things in pop culture where you're like, I don't feel like I'm in the position to really have a certain opinion about it. Like I feel like somebody else from a different background might have like a more meaningful opinion, kind of, because certain movies are made for certain people, or I don't know,
or actual experience that we haven't experienced. But if you guys are interested in talking on our podcast and like sharing your story, let us know.
If there's a movie you want to talk about. Is there some kind of issue you want to talk about? We're pretty open. I think we'll eventually start narrowing things down, but right now we just kind of want to keep it all open. But we will be starting with talking about movies. So
what are we talking about? Drum roll.
Drum roll. Oh god. Boy, oh boy.
I can't. Sorry, I'm so late on this. What are we talking about?
We are talking about the movie Rumor Has It. Crickets. Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay. I feel
what
like
film is that?
I feel like nobody knows what this movie is, or maybe they do. I don't know. I certainly did not when I discovered it. So
it's on Netflix.
It
just
is.
to let you guys know.
So if you are a Netflix user, look it up before they take it off. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the movies that's just gonna cut for
or even
something else.
If you don't want to watch it, because like I totally understand, because it's really not that.
You're
great.
Not losing anything.
Just look at the trailer, but Arbela is gonna give you guys a little bit of the backstory, like what the premise, it's about. Yeah.
This plot. So it has Jennifer Aniston and Mark Ruffalo as the main actors, as well as Kevin Costner. That's the name. And some other actors. It was directed by Rob Reiner, which is super random because he's like the guy from All in the Family, the son from All in the Family. He's also the dad in New Girl. New Girl, yeah. So he's very known to be very, I don't know, progressive, at least for his age, from what I've seen from his posts and stuff. So it's interesting that he's a director.
Yeah, it's like random to me, but maybe he is a well-known director. I don't know.
Who knows? I really don't. All I know is he was Michael from All in the Family, and anyway. Any All in the Family fans, let me know how much you love that show, because it was ridiculously funny. And it was, the screenplay was written by Ted Griffin. So like you mentioned, Nicole, written by a man. It's definitely through the male gaze. I don't know if it's trying to be funny or a romance or I don't know what it's trying to do. It was made in 2005 and it cannot pick a tone. So the premise of the movie is that Jennifer Aniston's character finds out essentially that there was this guy that her mother knew who slept with her mother in high school and also slept with her grandmother. Yeah. So and so she finds out about all this basically when she goes back home, Pasadena in California,
to her sister's
wedding. And she has these anxieties about her family. And her mother has passed away, so we don't see her. But she has these anxieties about her family where she's just like curious about their past. So she's like, I don't really fit in with them. I don't feel comfortable with them. I hate coming back to Pasadena. So your basic white people problems, like, okay, what is the issue here? But then we find out when Jennifer Aniston has a conversation with her grandmother, played by Shirley MacLaine, that this guy, whose name is Bo Burrows in Pasadena, actually slept with Jennifer Aniston's mom and actually even slept with her a week before her wedding with Jennifer Aniston's father. And this creates a whole thing like, da-da-dung, maybe he's my dad. Okay, so that's very like classic. That's done in a lot of films. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so we then also eventually find out that he also slept with the mom, like the grandmother. So try and keep up with this, but it's just fucking stupid. Read the summary if you get too confused. And then at one point, as Jennifer Aniston's in Pasadena figuring all this out through her grandmother, through her mom's old friend, through like looking through yearbooks, she also realizes that another person that her mother grew up with was a person who wrote a little movie called The Graduate. So, and then she finds out basically that this guy that her mom ran off with and also had a fling with her grandmother before her mom is the person, the inspiration for The Graduate.
It was the book.
Yeah.
It was book, yeah.
So this movie, rumor has it, has like a couple shots of the film, you know, of the Graduate.
I don't even know how they got the rights.
I don't know.
That.
That's so weird to me. That's the number one question I had is like, how did they think this was like a good representation of The Graduate? So I think, so it's so interesting if you take out The Graduate, like the whole backstory of that, you're just like, what? This is such a weird movie.
Oh, definitely.
And you'll understand.
But it gets weirder.
Just wait, folks. So whatever, at the, you know, wedding rehearsal or whatever, she finds all of this out. She has a revelation and she's like, oh my God, maybe this guy that my mom ran off with is actually my dad.
And that compels her
to go to San Francisco to find him, to find this mysterious Bo Burrows who fucked half her family. Sorry, that was vulgar. Who had sex with her grandmother and her mother. Which they don't even address how weird that is from the beginning until like maybe towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, they try to normalize it, which I just think is so problematic. But we could talk about that after. So what happens next?
So basically, I will tell you what happens next. She finds him, she talks to him, and he tells her basically, yes, I did have relations with your mother. I had sex with her, and I did have sex with her a week before her wedding with your father because she was having like second thoughts or whatever. And like Jennifer Aniston's like, oh my God, blah 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 blah, you might be my dad. And he the guy played by Kevin Costner is like, no, I'm not, because I'm sterile.
And the reason why is just like funny. I don't know, maybe I'm insensitive,
no,
but
it's
goofy. just like with the film though, because the film they try to make it so dramatic and stuff. So like he says that he's sterile because of like a football accident or something like that. Like playing football in high school.
Yeah, he like got kicked in the nuts. So he's like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
It's not like, I don't know.
So we're supposed to completely just like believe that, and it is true, but I don't know. It's just very like, I don't know. So
it's just like so funny because it's like, are we supposed to like sympathize with him? Or,
I
like,
don't know.
Can we laugh at this?
The movie doesn't know what the hell they want to do with tone.
Exactly,
like they're like, oh, it's funny, oh, it's quirky, oh, it's whatever. So basically Jennifer Aniston realizes that he's not her father, so she gets upset that she finds out that, oh, there's no big like secret here that he's her dad, and she kind of has a breakdown in front of him, and he says, okay, well, let me like cheer you up, like we can talk about your mom, we can like hang out, like, you know, let's just hang out in San Francisco for a night. And so they hang out, and then the night goes on, and you might have guessed it by now, ooh, they have sex. They are at one point, they go to a bar, they are drinking, and they are talking, and then they start kissing, and then they cut to her waking up in his bed. So that's like the big dramatic thing.
Yeah.
But it's like funny. It's like are we supposed to laugh like, oh, he had sex with her mom.
Yep.
He had sex with her grandmother. Oh, it's 3 times in a row. Like three
generations. Oh.
I just imagine like a bro just sitting on the couch watching this movie, be like, oh, 3 for 3, man, or something.
That's seriously like what I was saying. I was like through like the male gaze and like toxic masculinity and everything, this is probably such an amazing accomplishment to some men. Like, damn, that dude, he fucked 3 generations of women.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And that's why I say it was like, obviously it was written through a man. It was written for like the male gaze.
It was written for them.
What it's about.
And it's like, but it's weird.
And they also, I think another thing is they try to normalize it, casting Kevin Costner as Bo Burrows.
Yeah.
Because like I guess he's seen as like I guess in this film he's seen as like the simple man and like I
A
guess
silver
attractive,
fox,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, he's like the cool guy kind of, but
exactly.
and like so she has sex and she sort of like regrets it, but at first you can't tell really.
Yeah, but
you're
then
like,
she
"What?"
also like makes an excuse saying, "Oh, it was the alcohol," and then like we were both saying like
that makes it worse. Yeah, that makes it worse. And then meanwhile, okay, another casting problem since you touched on that. Why did they cast freaking Mark Ruffalo, the fucking sweetheart of the 90s? Are you fucking kidding me?
Seriously.
Like in my opinion, I it's just like we are not sympathizing for this chick at all right now. We're just kind of like, what the fuck did you just do?
It's not her fault though. That's how the character was written.
Oh yeah.
But
it's just so weird. I'm like, just a couple hours ago you thought this was your dad. Just a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So like
and now this makes it okay.
I don't know. And then he like, I don't know, like
Didn't you say he said he like tells her that he like loves her?
Yeah, he like, but he's literally just like he just uses women. I think what they're trying to get across is like he just uses women for kind of sex, but also for like emotional escapades. Like, oh, like I'm just gonna like take a ride in your life and whatever. Like I'm gonna just do that and whatever. Because that's what he did. Seems like what he did to her mom and his grandma. Oh my god.
Oh god.
No, it's not that fucked
not
up.
Go there.
Anyway, so meanwhile, Mark Ruffalo's back in New York where they live, and he's worrying because she's not answering her phone. And so he fucking comes back to San Francisco because he knows she's there. She somehow finds him.
Ticket.
Yeah. And
flies all the way over.
And he basically catches her in the act because she's like at this party.
Kissing
him, and he sees him, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, oh no.
And he like essentially breaks up with her, and at this point, again, still not sympathizing for her. I'm just like, you're an idiot. You are going through a midlife crisis. You could have just freaking gotten a tattoo on your butt. At the end, she's just like, no, I do want to get married. I do want to get married. Blah, blah, blah. I made a mistake. It's like, okay, well,
it's kind of like she realizes through fucking Bo Burrows, and then she's like, okay, I want to be with Mark Ruffalo.
But like,
I made a mistake.
I get what they're trying to say is like, okay, like, you know, her mom, she had that one last night with a guy who was like dangerous and weird, not weird, like the cool guy, and then she went back to her safe life and she was happy or whatever. But why couldn't they just make Jennifer Aniston just like have sex with a different guy or something? That would have still been bad, a lame storyline.
Yeah,
but just make
it would have been a quick story though. After it's like, okay, you're not my dad, Bo Burrows. I'm gonna leave. You know, that's what she should have done. But you know, they want to create some drama.
Anyway, so long story short, Mark Ruffalo takes her back. It ends on a really cringy line, which is like, she begs him to take him back, and then he's like, okay, but on one condition, Bo Burrows, if we have a daughter, Bo Burrows can't come anywhere close to her. And then she's like, I'm the last one, I swear. And it ends. Credits. I'm like, ew. It's like, that's the movie like acknowledging like, yeah, we know this is kind of fucked up. But it makes you wonder, what if the roles were reversed? You know, what if the woman was the one who was the older person, and the man, or no, I'm sorry, what am I saying?
If the woman was like
the older,
she would be considered a cougar.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
If the cougar slept with the grandfather, the father, the son?
Yeah, it makes you. That wouldn't be. I don't think that movie would ever get like no. Like,
first she would be called a cougar. And I feel like, well, with this story, with rumor has it, with the man being the one fucking every generation, it's like not even talked about. It's like shoved under the mat, the rug, the carpet, whatever you want to call it. And then like, if it was reversed, I feel like everyone would find out.
Yeah.
They would like slut shame her, call her a home wrecker.
Oh yeah, of some sort.
Oh,
yeah.
They would just
exactly
like, make her life like a living hell for like the decisions she made, and it's just like
and with him, he doesn't really face any consequences.
Oh my gosh, no. But I mean, he doesn't win.
I wish
in the end.
Mark Ruffalo like punched him in the face or something. It's like, you fucked my soon-to-be wife. Like,
but we were talking about this. He doesn't win in the end, though.
Yeah,
like maybe he won. Like, oh, I fucked everyone, but it's just.
But
like
at the end, I do like that
still alone.
They leave it on a sad note because she basically is like, he ends up coming he ends up coming to her at the Pasadena house and kind of like asking for her back, sort of, and then she I don't remember what happens, but it ends on like a sad note for him, where it's just like, yeah, you're just kind of sad and pathetic. So I kind of like that. But honestly, I think she's kind of sad and pathetic and doesn't. Her character is just not likable at all, and it's interesting.
Trying to find trouble in the wrong place.
Yep.
It's not fun trouble.
So that's like our take on Rumor Has It.
Yep.
Go watch it if you want. Again, it's just like a really stupid. I'm really shocked it's not a comedy, but it's just like one of those films where it's just like,
I don't even know if it's fun to watch, but it's like one of those films where you can't believe how ridiculous it is. Next topic
is. Are you gonna do it again? She's gonna do it again.
I am. It's fashion.
So I believe.
Fashion.
Oh my god. So I believe. Oh my god. So I believe it's London Fashion Week.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
London
happening.
Fashion Week now. Last week was New York Fashion Week.
So we figured fashion is a good cultural-ish topic to talk about. But we're going to talk about it also in terms of our bodies and kind of how our bodies interact with the world around us through clothes. Because I was mentioning this when we were first talking about, like, what were we going to say? How there's 3 facets, I feel like, of our bodies that are so kind of really reflect like who we are, who we try to be, how we try to show ourselves to the world. And those 3 facets I think is like our skin, our hair, and then like our like clothes, because clothes is like what we use to kind of cover up and like, you know, make ourselves feel comfortable, or
even our like weight or like body type.
It's there's just these multiple facets, not just 3, I guess, just multiple facets that are kind of we use, and that leads to kind of insecurities, and like, you know, also leads to like the whole, you know, how we're influenced by all these false standards. So
like even the westernization of beauty, like people are just like media for, I mean, since the dawn of time been saying Western beauty.
European beauty. White
European
beauty.
White beauty is the, I don't know.
It's like it's seen as like the standard.
Yeah.
Anything else is kind of like a weird other version of it. But we're seeing things change a little bit, such as like this month's Allure has Rihanna on the cover, and it's amazing, and it's obviously about the whole talking about Fenty Beauty. It's their beauty issue, so you know, obviously,
but it's like
awesome.
A beautiful photograph for a cover of a magazine.
It's very different. It has such a different energy.
Seriously though, it looks 70s style. I'm not sure if it was done in a studio or whatnot, but like usually like when you see covers of magazines, you see like, you know, someone with the wind blowing. They probably have a fan. They probably have so many lights all over the place. Yeah. And it's just like, it just seems more like raw.
It's very, like, it's effortless, because that's what Rihanna is. She's so fucking effortless. I love her. She's amazing.
Yes. I'm like, gosh.
So like that's something that's definitely getting better and stuff. But I think it's very interesting how we use clothes as a way to kind of communicate how we feel about our body. I know I've been trying,
or even our personality,
and our personality. Absolutely. I've been trying to definitely go out of the box a little bit with my fashion, but it's hard sometimes because you just feel like, oh, somebody's gonna judge me, or oh, for women specifically, like, oh, wearing this short skirt will make me look like a slut, and people will think I'm a slut, and guys will see me as a target. I hate that we have to think about that. I hate that we can't just think like, oh, I want to go out of the box, I want to try this new trend, I want to wear this, you know, I want to.
You don't want to feel judged. I think the biggest thing that people hesitate when it comes to fashion is because they like care so much about like what other people think. But like once you like put all the bullshit aside and you like realize that you like want to showcase who you are and you want to be unabashedly you, that's when your true fashion comes.
And I think fashion is like so important with that, like whatever your style is, and you know, who cares? Yeah, but I mean, that's easier said than done, obviously. But I think that people need to kind of just be open with it and just, you know, try out what they like.
But I love fashion. It's like a little bit hard though. Like, you know, you would think it'd be easier like living in the city to like showcase your fashion, but it's just like if you kind of want to go out of the box, people kind of like do a double take of you.
They're like, oh, she's trying. She's trying.
But like if I were to live in New York and wear whatever the fuck I want, I just feel like people wouldn't care. They'd be like, we've seen worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Or better or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, and you should tell us what you wore last weekend.
Okay, so last weekend we went out for a birthday party, and we just like went to pretty trashy clubs and whatnot.
Danced our butts off.
Yes, but I found this like really cheap satin dress, like slit by the knee. It was really like, it was deep V, showed off my boobies. My boobies. Ew. I just like hated the way I said that. It was like very 90s, and like I was just like, okay, this dress is definitely not for a trashy club or whatever. It's definitely more for like cocktail attire. But you know what? I just thought a lot of very well-known fashion icons always say commit to your look.
Commit to it. Yeah.
When you walk out your front door and you're like nervous of thinking like, oh, people are going to judge me, blah, blah, commit to your look, be confident, and then people are going to think that's cool. I want to wear it.
Exactly. You got to just look like, yeah, I'm wearing, I don't know, 2 different shoes. I don't know.
2 different socks.
2 different socks, or a weird jacket, or a super colorful sweater that looks like Crayola vomited all over it, but I am working it. And you gotta just have this.
If you're confident, you're convincing people that it is like artwork,
and it gives you a boost. It gives you a confidence boost
for sure.
Yeah. And what I wore last weekend was this kind of like off the shoulder crop top, and then a sort of mini skirt. Yeah, it was a mini skirt, white denim mini skirt, and I loved it. I love how the colors, because the crop top was like a lavender color, and it was just it looked cute. So nice.
Awesome.
But I was having anxiety about it. I really was, like the night before. Like I planned it out like a week before, but then the night before I changed like 3 times. Yeah. Like before you guys got here, I changed. I was thinking about wearing jeans instead. I changed my shirt. I changed my. I was like, no, I need to be more dressed down. I need to be more dressed down. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, and also what I was thinking was like, oh well, I feel like I'm showing too much skin, and that I will be seen as a slut, or I will be seen as a target by guys. Like, oh, she's showing skin, so she's gonna.
That means that
I can grope her.
Yeah.
And I mean, nothing like that happened. And I think we were in a group. Nobody was gonna touch us. Yeah. So I think, but it sucks that women have to walk around with that and be like, and even with your dress, like, I mean, it's like, I hate the idea that people think like, oh, she's trying too hard. What the fuck is so bad about trying?
Seriously. But then like,
can we really,
at this point in my life, I just like don't really care what people think anymore. Like if guys think that, oh, she's dressed because I want her, or like women think that, I'm trying too hard or anything like that. I really like didn't care, and I had fun. And I think that's like another really good thing about fashion is like committing to your look, being confident, and not really giving a fuck what people think. Yeah,
and just the older you get, I feel like the less you care, literally. But yeah, and I think one article that I'm gonna plug at the bottom, along with all these plug it in, is I read this. I read the website called Man Repeller a lot. It's about fashion and lifestyle and all this cool stuff. Fashion. And there's this article that's written not just by, it was written by a couple people of the editors from the website. It's called "What's the Psychology Behind My Fear of Overdressing?" Really good stuff. Really talks about like different perspectives of like, and gives you some outfit inspirations too, honestly. And it really spoke to me because I was just thinking like, why am I afraid of overdressing? Why am I afraid to seem like I'm trying, or to seem like I do follow trends or a couple, So I think that's a good article. What made me think of that whole thing, and ultimately what gave me a little bit more confidence to just get out of the box. Yeah. And another thing that fashion obviously relates to is our bodies, and I feel like there's been a lot of talk for a while, honestly, about like body, because we were talking about how so like the ideal standard of beauty is shoved down our throats constantly, obviously through the media. And before social media was around, it was mainly like magazines and newspapers. So it's like, okay, you you'll see it on a billboard, you see it on a magazine, whatever. Like maybe you're not subscribed to it or whatever. But now we have like Instagram, which is an awesome app. I love it. I like having fun with it, but like it's very like immediate images.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way or be a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I think, it's very important to kind of just be more and more inclusive. Also, I guess what else it was on Cosmo, right? They had a plus size model on the cover.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I this is just literally, I thought of this, so we're not gonna.
I think this is like the first time this has ever happened.
Yes. They had that one girl who was
from America's Next
Top
Model.
Model.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she's a plus size, but this is like a different kind of plus size that is more inclusive and
definitely
it represents more people, and it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's and so it's the September issue of Cosmo. I'll link it as well. Yeah, this is the one of what's her face. But yeah, and so yeah, I will link it at the bottom.
I feel like they made the other wait, go back to the other Cosmo with what's her name? Ashley Graham. I'm sorry, it just looks like they photoshopped her. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I don't know. I just like it looks like they make her look like thinner. Which kind of like bothers me. We don't have to get into it.
It might be
like,
the outfit.
Yeah.
But okay, so Tess Holliday, she's the one who's on the cover for September. Mm-hmm. I haven't read any opinions, bad or good. Oh, I've read a lot of good actually, but I've not seen anything bad. But I feel like I've sort of seen I don't know, heard somewhere that there were some negative things. But I just haven't really looked into it. So I mean, let us know. I think this kind of stuff is really important, though. Like I just said, like, I mean, you know, the standard of beauty is shoved down our throats through magazines, mostly like on the cover. You see that and you're like, you want to be a cover girl.
Yeah.
And I think this is like so important for everybody.
Oh, for everyone.
Just knowing like.
Because I'm sure every girl growing up, they were taught to be skinny, and being skinny is pretty, and being skinny means that you will attract men, and you'll have friends.
Yeah.
And you'll be successful in life.
Yeah. What kind of experiences did you have growing up in regards to like your body and feeling pressure to have your body a certain way?
So I just feel like growing up, there was always this pressure to be pretty. Mm-hmm. And that woman's only value in this world is to be pretty, you know? And at the age of 13, I became really, like, obsessive with it and, like, my body image and whatnot. Like, I was told by a family friend that I was fat. And when I was, like
to your face?
Well, yeah.
Or
And so, like, I just like thought I was. And after that, I was obsessive with counting calories, and like I wouldn't eat over 1,500 calories, and I was 13. And like I worked out every single day, and this became like such an obsessive thing with me till I was like 18, and like I never like talked to anyone about it, but like I feel like I did have body dysmorphia, because like I would like look in the mirror and like not see myself. I would see someone who was like bigger, and like looking back at photos, I was chubby, but I wasn't fat. And even if I was fat, it didn't even matter. Like I was fine, but like it just became like such a problem for me. And like I just felt like I just had to like look a certain way in order to like fit in with everyone. And like I just even remember at one point looking like I was about 15, like freshman year of high school, like looking really, really skinny and not like really healthy. And like it was just like, it was a big problem with me. But like I'm just so glad that now I don't care. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck.
It's just so much more important to just make sure you're being healthy in whatever way you can. And just like the unhealthy standards that are just like told to us, like, well, you gotta look this way, you gotta look this way. It's just it's so awful. It really puts so many girls through so much trauma, like so much trauma. Growing up, and like you should not be going through that at 13 years old. You should be like hanging out with your friends, listening to music, going to Warped Tour. I don't know. Which
Going to Warped
we
Tour.
did go to Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And that's awful. That's
yeah,
awful.
I just like remember just like
I can't believe somebody just said that to your face though, but I've heard that happen so many times, so many people I know.
Yeah, and like I just remember like if I ate something bad, I would like use laxatives. Like I would just try to get it out of my body. I would do any way I could to like get bad things out of my body and stuff like that. I was just so young and like it probably it still affects me a little bit today, like thinking back at it, but like now I just like don't right now I just feel so comfortable with my body because I've like done things to be good to myself and like have good relationships with people who tell me I'm like just perfect the way I am and stuff like that, and like it feels really good.
And I think it's important you're talking about this because I think a lot of people can relate to this. It's I can't. I can't. Which it makes me even sadder because I just can't. I remember like other girls talking to me. Like I remember the culture growing up in middle school and high school where it's like, yeah, skinny was good. Skinny was good. Everybody was on this weird, was like on diets or we're doing this. And I mean, but I personally, I mean, I had my insecurities, no doubt. We could like talk about mine another night.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough, and I would call this a privilege, being able to grow up and not being able to just exist in your body like 90% of the time. Because like we all have insecurities about our bodies, I think at one point or another. I think we really do. Yeah. Everybody. I had a good metabolism, you know, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I think but like having a bad metabolism, it shouldn't right away put you in this like awful like category where you're doomed to hate your body forever. You know how messed up that is. That you know, and like it didn't. I'm not gonna lie, like you were like growing up, you were pretty thin, and like I had a lot of friends. Just growing up with a lot of friends who were very thin. It was hard. It was hard a little bit because like I would just look at you and be like, oh, I need to look like that. But it's just like you are perfectly you, so I needed to be perfectly me with my imperfections or whatever that maybe. That's just so weird to me because looking back for me, I never paid attention to my body. I never even cared. I was more self-conscious about my mind, kind of. Like I was like, oh, I'm stupid at this, I'm bad at this, I can't do this. Like that was my thing, which is still bad obviously, but like with my body I was able to forget about it. Let's just say that I was just able to forget about it, and I think that's different than loving your body. I think I am slowly getting to the point where I can like love it or whatever.
Forgetting about your body, it's like you're separating it, and
you're separating it.
One mind and body.
But I think the big thing for me is kind of like, just because I've been able to like forget about my body doesn't mean I've been healthy with it. You know,
that's so true.
Because
sometimes if you forget about your body, you're like, oh, I can eat this and this and this.
Exactly.
And it could be not healthy for you.
Exactly. And you know, I still have, but still, even to this day, I'm like, I sometimes get stressed out a lot about like bikini body season or blah, blah, blah. But like, you know. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. And I'm so glad it's like there's just more people come like you know, magazine covers and stuff coming out. I think it needs to be not just these kind of like isolated incidences though, like oh, one cover and then 5 we're not going to have any more, you know, plus size models. So I hope they keep incorporating it. I hope you can see also fashion brands incorporating more plus size models and just models with different bodies. And I think it's important for everyone. It's important for maybe someone like you who maybe did go through some kind of dysmorphia. But I think it's also important for people like me who maybe just never realized, because I was oblivious. I mean, I was oblivious to my own body, but I was also oblivious to how other people were viewed. Like I was oblivious to you. And that makes me sad that I never realized that you were feeling that way. Well, I mean, we talked about it later when we were like in college, but I never realized.
It was like such a problem for me
because I thought, oh, everybody's seeing the same way, you know?
Because I just remember obsessing, like looking in the mirror for like almost an hour, picking at things that I didn't like about myself, that like I wish I could change and stuff like that. And like now I just like want to like hug my younger me and be like, why are you doing this? But another thing though, like my other friends that were like very skinny growing up with, I remember like I called one of my friends, "You look anorexic. Like you're anorexic." And I thought that was a compliment because it would have been a compliment to me.
Right.
And like I have no idea what that person was going through. And it was like awful to say something like that, and now I recognize that. So it's
so
like
fucked up.
you know, like people who are thinner, they do face that people calling them like anorexic or bulimic and stuff that may actually be happening in their lives or may not, but still like it's rude.
Since we are on the topic of body positivity and we are throwing linky links out there, linky links.
Arbela knows everything. She reads
No,
which is a good thing.
I just consume a lot of social media, way too much for my own good. But
no, it's a good thing.
we are gonna link the Cosmo issue, and I also.
Okay, that's it. I'm done.
But also, if you do want to try, and include in your feed, in your Instagram feed, more kind of diversity in different bodies and different people, and help change the fucking standard of beauty, let's fucking do it. One person that I definitely suggest people should follow, her name on Instagram is Body Posy Panda.
Yes.
She's super fun. She's super awesome. She has a very cool story, a very heavy story of her past with her body that's very, very interesting. And it Body Posy, Posi, and then and her name's Megan. She's based in England.
Follow.
Really awesome person, and I think she really changed even my perspective in the last year about how just loving your body as it is. And she's like fiercely radically against dieting. She's like, fuck dieting. She's like, you should never diet again because this and this, like she's very smart. She just came out with a book too, so if you do like her page, get her book. I think she's a cool person to follow. And if there's anything you guys suggest that we should follow, please let us know.
From our home to yours.
Okay. Thanks guys for listening. Let us know if you have any suggestions of what you want us to talk about, what topics you want us to, maybe if you like ask a specific topic, we'll kind of work it into our main theme, and then maybe even pick the first movie that we talk about at the beginning. Poof. Okay. Well, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.